everyone, it's time for the week 2 part 1 recap, and our topic this week was technology. Again, I want to commend you on your fantastic job on your reflective journal, your Padlet board, and I'm starting to see a few projects coming in. They're not due quite yet, so don't stress, but everything that you're doing is very quality work, and I'm very impressed, so thank you. First thing on our recap is the discussion we had on Padlet. Is technology pro or no? And I actually had one answer that I loved. Beth said it should be minimal. She was going to pick an in the middle. And I know we probably all fall somewhere close to that in the middle range. Regardless of our age and experiences, we know there's positives and negatives to using technology with our youngest learners. But I wanted to share some of the important yes and no kind of parts. So for pro technology in the classroom, some of the things that we notice right here, when technology is monitored and limited, and that's kind of a key word or words, it can be a very positive experience for students, but you must monitor it as the teacher and you must limit it and not overuse it. But it's motivating for kiddos, it's fun, and it's engaging. I'm not going to kid you, kids love to be on media devices. It's a constant struggle I have as a parent to get mine off, and we have strict limits in my house. But they love it, and they'll be engaged in the things that you do on there. But that doesn't mean that you should allow them to do it all the time. They also probably would love to eat ice cream and milkshakes all the time, and we know that that wouldn't be a good thing to do either. So when you do get them on there, make it meaningful so they will engage in the activities you choose for them. The other thing we notice is this era of children, this generation, has grown up in using technology. So they're very comfortable when you give them a device to use, and that's a good thing. Also, there are some amazing programs out there that allow students to be producers of their projects and allow them to collaborate with peers, and things that you could not do in a regular classroom. Now, I'll be quite honest, this is something that is more for your upper elementary, not even upper elementary, but your first graders, second graders, third graders, kindergartners can do it as well. But this is where they can jump in and really create and allow their unique differences to show through in their sharing projects. One of the fun things I did with my kiddos is, this is for math, but we decided to make a video of shapes. And so we learned all about our 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional shapes. And then what I did was I took them on the playground with digital cameras on the tablets, and they photographed shapes in nature, shapes on the playground, shapes outside, and we brought that in and we made class books and movies out of them. And everyone was unique and different. They had to work together, and it was an amazing project. And we did that in lieu of a test. And it was a real nice way to see what they had learned in an authentic collaboration. So we have so many programs out there that allow them to share what they've learned, put their own spin on it. Again, though, they do need to be proficient in some of these things and be able to read and write. So we're looking at kindergarten at the very edge of this. Another kind of positive of technology is its accessibility. I know there's a lot going on with technology, and sometimes it is overused at home, which is, coming down in the no area. But my daughter's first grade class just participated in an online contest from a website called SumDog, which is produced by our intermediate units. And they were supposed to go online, and they were leveled and played games to practice reading and math skills. And the class, it was not even a week period, I think it was a 5-day period. And the class that had the most correct answers logged won a prize. And there were 160 schools that participated, and my daughter's classroom won first place. And I gave her a little bit of lenience in how much media time she had last week because of the contest, and I knew it was important to her. But I have to tell you, she was so engaged in the reading and math tasks that were on the game, and I do think she got a lot of valuable practice. It's not something I would want her to do every evening. But again, the accessibility to practice what they're learning at school, at their homes, is much greater now with technology. We know for sure, especially through this project that you're doing with the website evaluation, that technology assists teachers in the organization, planning, and connecting with families through podcasting, through YouTube videos, through teacher web pages. You can connect daily. I had a blog in my classroom that we did daily, and it's just a great way to use technology to connect with your families. The best way to use technology is to extend learning for students and also help prepare them for lessons, especially those ELL students or students who might not have background knowledge in whatever you're learning. And we can do that by using videos and pictures online or integrating music into our lessons. And last, and this is one I love smart technology. I love the smart board. It can be used so positively in many ways, but it's great for active brain breaks where you're getting them up and moving and using that. And it's also great for the hands-on learning experiences that students can have because they're manipulating things on that screen. It's not as great as manipulating real things in games and activities, but it is more hands-on and kinesthetic for that sort of learning. Some of the no's to technology, the big one is too much media time. If you are on media devices at school and at home, and they're watching television and anything else, you're going to see they're way over the limits that the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends. I know for children under the age of 8, it's recommended only 1 hour a day, and anyone over 8 should be limited to 2 hours a day of media, and that does include anything with a screen. So a tablet, a computer, a television, a movie. I did speak with my pediatrician. They have adjusted these limits. That is their original guideline, but they're finding it's not very feasible. And they have adjusted it to 30 minutes at a time, no more, for their vision and their brains. And then if they do go over those limits, it should be basically because they're doing it at school and with learning things, they are having more time on media. So they've adjusted it slightly, but again, keep that 30 minutes at a time at the most. Another no is it can eliminate social interaction and be passive. Although it doesn't have to, kids can get sucked in. And I know my own daughter, she does not have a cell phone, my 13-year-old, and everyone else does on her cheerleading team. And they will sit and text each other, and she feels very left out. And she said, we're sitting beside each other and no one is speaking to each other. And that's a big problem. And that can start even younger if we're having technology used in those communication ways. And students can get sucked in and just be passive watchers instead of participants. Technology lacks specific encouragement from a teacher. I know when you're playing games, I watched that contest my daughter was in, and after every game it would say, good job, high five. But that encouragement is very general, and after a while kids tune that out. Teachers can be very specific in the encouragement we give them, and that makes it more meaningful, and we definitely don't get that from the interactions with technology. And last, and this is the one I have a big problem with, is I'm seeing in as early as kindergarten classrooms school districts using online testing, and they're testing kiddos in reading, math, and even writing on the computer, and things are timed, and they're doing this weekly, and I find this extremely overused and completely inappropriate. And I know teachers they want authentic tasks, and they're advocating for more meaningful assessments, whereas school districts are pushing these online testing forums. So that's going to be an ongoing struggle for classrooms. All right, so that's my big kind of wrap up for technology. I have 3 administrative things to hit real quick. I've been posting a lot of things in Word because many of you have requested formats that you can manipulate. And I have no problem doing that for you. That's really easy for me. But I just wanted to say that I work on a Mac, and I work in a program called Pages, which is like Word. And it allows me to export in Word, but it does do some funky things to the format that it might not look great. So if you go into a document that is Word, you may need to play around with the size of the text or the header or footer or margins to get it to, or even the font, to get it to look the way that you want it to look. Don't don't freak out when you see it if it's all a mess. You probably can download it from D2L and play with it, and it'll be fine in a minute or two. If you can't, the PDF file is always there. I've been adding both on for you, and that'll show you what it's supposed to look like. But if you have any questions or problems, let me know. Another thing I'm interested in doing is through YouTube, you can do live meetings, and I can actually get on the screen and you can see me, and you can get on the screen and we can see you, and we can go over anything that you want to go over. I can do some live presentations if you're interested. I can go over projects like this, but the big challenge is it'll be done at one specific time, and then if you can't participate at that time, you'll just watch the meeting that's recorded as a YouTube video. So if anyone is interested in a live meeting coming up this weekend, it would have to be on Sunday late afternoon or Saturday late afternoon for me. My kiddos have crazy schedules this weekend, but I would definitely put that into my schedule for Saturday late afternoon or Sunday late afternoon. What I'm going to do in just a second is I'm going to post a status on Facebook where you can list if you could do Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon, and also if there's a topic you'd like to talk about so I can prepare for it. That kind of will set our agenda for the meeting. And then again, if you can't participate or if it doesn't have any meaning to you, it will be recorded and you can check it out later. I'll make sure that you can get to it. But if you're interested, visit Facebook page and just let me know when you're available and what topics you would like. And last but not least, this is our first week for pin boards. I am a huge proponent of Pinterest because there's so many ideas for teachers out there. Actually, it's overwhelming. But what I'd like you to do this week is create your first pin board. The topic is diverse learners this week. Just if you've never been on Pinterest or you're unsure of the directions, go into the project folder and there is a handout and video on what's expected of you. But basically it's 10 pin boards. Even though I will give you the opportunity to make 12, you'll be graded on 10 and you need 10 pins within each board. I do not want to see these pin boards until the end of the semester. Because you might be growing them. Even if you have 10 pins now, you might find things. Pinterest is like that. You keep finding things. So we'll share these pin boards at the end of the semester, and I'll give you directions for that closer to the time. All right, I know this was a long one, but I hope that recap helps you a lot. And good luck in week 2, part 2.